Hi friends! I nearly forgot to take my estrogen today. I take it on a weekly cycle. I take injectable estrogen, and I figured since I'd left it this late already, why don't we do it together? To be super clear from the very start, this is not a guide. There are guides out there that are for people who are medically trained and better than me, and that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is partly because it's a diary and it's a thing that I'm going to do today. And secondly, it's because if you're anything like me, you've heard of people injecting estrogen, but you don't know what that's actually like, and it sounds scary, and maybe your only other experience of people injecting things is like hard drugs, or like insulin, and it's a little different from both of them, at least for me, because I can't get a hold of my estrogen in a free, safe, expeditious time frame, and even if I could, I couldn't get the injectable stuff, which actually works really well for me. So I'm going to show you. The other bit to be clear of, I'm not going to show me actually injecting myself, in small part because YouTube might not allow it, also because I don't want people copying me. If you're going to, please get proper medical advice first, and third, because I don't want to share that. I'm also not going to show any needles outside of their packaging, but I will show them for educational purposes in their packaging. And we'll go through what it takes. This will probably take about 10 minutes, which is what it usually does. So to start with, this is my estrogen. It's a tiny little bottle. Just hold it out like that. Estrogen. This is my sharp spin. I put the sticker on. A syringe. Standard 1 milliliter syringe. My uptake needle, which is a little green needle. Well, quite a big green needle. This one doesn't go inside me. This one is just for getting the estrogen. And my injecting needle, which is this tiny little yellow needle. I take my injections subcutaneously, which means I just inject them into my tummy, just into the fat around there, and that works just fine. I don't need to find any veins or go through any muscles, and that works well for me. So I'm going to sort of talk through the process. I'm going to re-angle you slightly. Hello, you can see I have some drinks on my desk. So the process is really quite simple. I just open, again, I'm not really showing you what I'm doing because I don't want this to be a guide. This is more an idea of what I do once a week. So I open up my syringe and I open up my uptake needle, which is the lovely green one. And I just attach them together. Then I take an alcohol swab, so I just have these. So I have all of this because there is a clinic that I go to, which is run by trans people, for trans people, and they give medical supplies for taking HRT. Particularly for my case is relevant, they give medical supplies for taking injectable estrogen. This is done in collaboration with the sort of safe needle drug projects for people who take recreational drugs. But obviously I am taking mine for medical reasons. So I said I wouldn't show needle. Oops, sorry. I won't show any needles going into me, don't worry. So now that I've got the needle, I add a little bit of air and I insert it into my bottle, which has sort of a multiple injections insert. Squeeze out the air. That just makes drawing it a little easier. And then I take 0.1 milliliters. It's the absolute tiniest amount, honestly. Of all my videos, this is probably the most likely to get taken down. This is for educational purposes. I am also not going to be showing anyone how to actually take hormones, just what my process is. And it's really quite simple. Like, the first few times I was nervous, but I've done it so much now. Sorry, I am just making sure that I have exactly the amount that I need to take, because I want to make sure I keep my levels sensible. There we go, and I'm getting any bubbles out of there. So once I've drawn up my 0.1 milliliters, I remove the uptake needle, the big scary one, and I put that in my sharp spin, which just keeps it safe. I take my very small yellow needle. So the clinic that I go to, they gave me these supplies. They also showed me how to inject. And they do the cutest thing. They show you how to do the injection on an orange, which is actually pretty similar consistency. So I've just attached my yellow needle now. Pop that on. Once I've got the cap off, I just take a second alcohol swab, and I drop it on the floor, which means it's not sterile. Luckily, I have a whole bag full. Yeah, they were super kind to me when I first went there. I was really nervous. Obviously, I'd never sort of taken medical injections before. Okay, so get a swab, and I'm not going to show you my tummy, but I just do an injection right by my belly button. I try to switch sides each time. So I'll do it on my right hand side this time. At this point, it's really similar to estrogen, to insulin. It's just a tiny little pinprick, and it doesn't hurt, which is honestly one of the biggest surprises to me. I always expect it to hurt, but it's just not. So takes a couple of seconds. So because the needle I use is really small, it just takes a couple of seconds to like actually inject everything. I hold it in for sorry, just getting a WhatsApp notification. I hold it in for a couple of seconds, and when that's done, it's done. So it's less than 10 minutes. And a lot of that was me stopping to explain, and then I grab the needle and I pop it in my sharp spin. So it's safe, I'm safe. I've actually been collecting my syringes ever since my first one. I just like them as a little tally. But that's me done for a week. It's really not that hard, is the bit that I'm shocked by. Like, all of the changes, well, a lot of the changes have come from like me feeling more confident in myself, but all of the physical changes that have happened in my body have happened because of 0.1 milliliters of my estrogen, which is already very dilute. I love it so much. It's crazy that such a small vial of such a simple chemical can save my life. I hope this was interesting. I'm not sure I ever intended to show, like, what injecting looks like. I am sorry I showed some needles. I'll make sure I add a little disclaimer. And yeah. Thank you for joining me for this. This was really nice. I hope that anyone who has been worried about what this is like maybe feels a little bit less worried. And if anyone was just curious, now you know. Okay. I love you very much, friends. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.